Hi, everyone, and welcome to New AI Workforce Managing AI SDR Agents. My name is Kieran Snaith. I'm the SVP of Revenue Operations here at Qualified, and I'm joined by David Yang, our Senior Manager of Inside Sales. Now, before we talk about managing AI SDR agents in the new world, I thought it would be really important to just talk about the old way that we have done things traditionally. Like most companies, we had a pipeline target, a large pipeline target. And a lot of what the job was is making sure that we had the capacity, the campaigns, and the motion to kind of hit these goals. But within this $20 million sample number that I have here, we always knew that a portion of this would come through the website. About 30% of our pipeline was coming through our website. And a lot of what we would do is try to hire, train, and enable reps to build pipeline from the website. What we would do is we would actually sit in the beginning of a quarter and we would look at our key kind of website traffic patterns, which you see here on the left. And I would often work with David on like, well, what type of capacity do we need? How many reps do we need to hire? And what type of a shift model do we want to run? So a lot of our job was playing around with how do we hire, how do we enable, and how do we staff reps on the inbound side of our business so that they can address our inbound website traffic and our inbound leads. And it was really so that our humans could hit these goals that you see here. Up top, 20 seconds inbound chat response time. This is when somebody's on our website and they say they want to talk to sales. We expected our humans to be there within 20 seconds. Sounds easy, but it was really quite a challenge. Next is our pounce conversion rate. This is the concept where we have visitors on our website and we wanted our inbound SDRs to proactively pounce via chat and say hi to drum up a conversation. Next is our outbound click-through rate. When our BDRs, our outbound reps, send emails and somebody clicks through those to the website, we wanted our inbound SDR to be there immediately and pounce and say hi to that visitor. And then last but not least, inbound lead IRT. We wanted to respond to all of our leads within 5 minutes. So everything we were doing, we're staffing humans and managing humans, enabling humans to accomplish these metrics. And as we continued to scale as a business, it became really challenging. We had more traffic, more qualified leads, more inbound leads on our site. And that meant we had to continue to kind of grow this team. Staffing that larger team became more complex. Now we're brought to the new way of doing things. Introducing Piper the AI SDR agent. And what Piper really did is flipped the way that we have traditionally done things on its head. We typically were working to staff humans on the app. And now we're in a situation where we no longer needed to have those human SDRs on the inbound funnel. We were able to move them all to outbound and leverage Piper and her functionality to accomplish all of our inbound needs. So let's talk about Piper for a second and the benefit to our team. Reduced headcount costs. I no longer needed to hire and staff our SDR team in order to address our inbound traffic. We have unlimited capacity, instant speed. I just talked about a 5-minute lead IRT time. That's not an issue with Piper. She's going to be able to do this sub 60 seconds, perfect quality all the time and never ending tenure. Not going to be promoted, not going to leave the team. She's always going to be here to help us hit these kind of inbound goals. And now I'm going to hand it to David to talk about some of the data and proof that he saw with Piper.
Yep. Thanks, Kieran. The impact of this change has been really significant for us. We went all in on Piper on the website in Q3 of last year, and we saw a very clear trend. Human SDR conversations were trending down, while Piper conversations and booked meetings were ramping up. Piper's pounces weren't just being reactive. She was proactively engaging with almost every visitor at scale. And that was something that we realistically couldn't expect our human reps to be doing. So she was getting into exponentially more conversations and more at-bats to book meetings. So overall, what did we learn and benefit from with AI SDR is that one, we were able to get coverage on 24/7 global business hours, really ensuring that no overseas or late night visitors were going unengaged or unanswered. And two, we were able to get better website engagement with pretty much every visitor getting proactively messaged and not just those lucky few who were showing up during business hours. And this was leading to significantly more conversations happening on our website. Three was that we increased our productivity. It wasn't just like on the website with our reps, but also just outside of the website. Because Piper was generating more meetings, our humans, they were able to be freed up to focus on other key pipeline generating activities. And four, it really allowed us to strategically move more up market and drive more profitability for our business. We could pivot our reps to be more focused on the up market target accounts while we let Piper handle more of the SMB market. So now you might be wondering, like, how do you actually manage an AI SDR? And the first thing is that we set clear goals and rules for Piper so that we're giving her guidance on how we expect her to carry conversations, but also give her guardrails on things to avoid and ensure that she stays aligned with our brand and messaging. So just like with a human SDR, feedback is a core part of how we're coaching Piper. She's not static. She's constantly learning and evolving with the feedback that we give her. And we can also use sandboxes to ask her questions, see how she answers them, give feedback on it. And we can also filter questions by specific topics that real visitors are asking so that we see how Piper answered it. We can identify patterns, spot gaps in her responses, and also make targeted improvements to her answers. The second tip is to give Piper a pipeline quota. Piper isn't just something we just set and forget. We didn't just like unleash her on the website and hope for the best. We set concrete goals, just like we do for our human SDRs. And, this could look like a specific number of qualified meetings booked or like a pipeline dollar target. But giving Piper a quota really creates accountability and allows us to track progress over time. And it makes it easier to benchmark her against human performance and understand where she's contributing, and without a quota, it's just really easy to treat her as like bonus capacity. But by really formalizing her role, you can better ensure that she's driving meaningful outcomes. The third thing here is that we're regularly assessing Piper's performance outside of just those quota or meeting set numbers. Where we built out dashboards that track her activity, like how many conversations is she having, how many handoffs is she making to sales, and we're not just stopping at these like surface level metrics. We're really trying to dig into like her conversion rates, the quality of the conversations, and the impact that she's having to our pipeline. We're also comparing Piper's performance to human SDR so we can really identify the strengths and the gaps that she might be having. So questions we might be asking is like, is she outperforming on certain personas? Is she struggling with certain objections? And this kind of data-driven review helps us continuously optimize her performance rather than just assuming that she's on autopilot. And then fourth here is that we make sure Piper is aligned with our broader sales and marketing strategy. So she's not just operating in isolation. She's really a part of our larger go-to-market motion. And that means that messaging needs to stay consistent with the current campaigns, the key value props, and target personas. And so when marketing launches a new promotion, we want to highlight that, right? Or maybe it's like a new part of our product, but we are essentially updating Piper's playbooks accordingly, so that we're not sending mixed signals to buyers, and Piper is amplifying the same priorities as the rest of the team. And it makes her a really powerful lever for reinforcing our messaging in the market. And finally, we integrate Piper fully into the team culture. So this means that she has a seat at the table when we review performance. Her results are on the same dashboards and leaderboards as our human reps, and her performance is part of our Friday pipeline meetings where we talk through wins, challenges, and strategy. So we're celebrating Piper's successes. So when she hits her goals or books a big meeting, we're recognizing that as part of the team's achievement. And by really embedding her into the team dynamic, we're avoiding creating an us versus the machine mindset. And we're positioning her as a teammate who's freeing up human reps to focus on more complex, high value work, making the whole team stronger. So overall, managing an AI SDR like Piper works best when you're treating her like a part of the team with clear goals, feedback, and alignment. So thank you for coming to our session. And if you'd like to learn more or swap ideas, feel free to reach out anytime.